I stared at the XRP chart this morning and I almost spilled my coffee. Why is a coin with lawsuit-ending news, a potential banking license, and a Federal Reserve master account application still flirting with $2? The second sip, the same confusion. So I did what any crypto nerd with a spreadsheet addiction would do. I ran the numbers myself. Then I ran them again, and the second run nearly broke my brain. Backstory first. Last week, a buddy texted me, "Bro, XRP up 440% year over year and still flatlining this month. Explain the wizardry." And he's right? Ripple's beats the SEC, right? It shouts banking license from the rooftops, yet Mr. Market yawns at $2.22. It's kind of like announcing you found Atlantis and everyone's busy scrolling cat memes. So I kind of set a personal challenge. What if XRP just creeps up a humble 2% every month? Nothing outrageous, nothing outrageous, no moon boy fireworks, just slow and steady, turtle-paced progress. Where would that put us by 2035? So grab a snack, because I'm going to be taking you on the same number crunching adventure that hijacked my weekend. First, picture July ending with XRP at, let's say, $2.26.44. That's barely a nose bump, right? Like kind of finding maybe a single fry at the bottom of your takeout bag. Now, by August, maybe we inch to $2.30.97. Meh. Even my kind of smartwatch celebrating 5K steps feels more exciting at that point. But keep the meter running, December 2025, suddenly we're actually at $2.55. Still not Lamborghini money, but patience is the secret seasoning here. Fast forward one full year, and we're sitting at roughly $2.87.2. Now, it's kind of like compound interest snowball then. Tiny at the top of the hill, a rolling boulder by the bottom. Now, flat numbers are boring. Stories kind of stick. So, imagine 2025, me tossing a kind of battered suitcase into the trunk of a family road trip car. Now, my kids' Disney kind of playlist is on repeat, and I'm refreshing Kraken Pro on my phone. Yes, that affiliate link in the description that supports the channel and my sanity. Right, watching XRP may be cool, but never actually tank. Every month, that 2% drip is like the highway mile markers. There's nothing flashy until you glance in the rearview mirror and realize that you're 3 states away. Around 2027, my accountant sister, the resident skeptic, calls me. "You're still diamond handing that kind of court case coin," she goes. And I show her the math. A consistent 2% monthly gain would have nudged XRP past $3.50 by then. She whistles, half impressed, but here's the kicker. Use compounding for 5 full years, and we arrive at 2030, with a price near $7.43. That's a fresh all-time high and roughly $500 billion market cap. Suddenly, Aunt Linda at Thanksgiving is asking how to download a wallet. So let's paint the Thanksgiving scene then, right? Turkey's dry, of course. Families debate whether stuffing belongs inside the bird. And Uncle Bob says that crypto's dead. Says it every single year, right after second slice of pie, of course. So I pull out my phone, I flash the $7.43 XRP chart, and Bob almost chokes on the cranberry sauce. Now Ripple, now armed with a banking license and a Fed master account, is rubbing elbows with Wells Fargo at the regulatory cocktail party. Who looks dead now, Uncle Bob? Now stick with me because the math rockets from interesting to are you kidding me in just the next few years. 2030s, right? Pretty interesting. Leave that 2% facet dripping and by July of 2035, XRP taps $24.37. Now that number alone doesn't stir emotions until you stack it against giants, right? A $1.5 trillion market cap nudging Berkshire Hathaway aside like the polite yet relentless kid in a cafeteria line. Now, the tortoise didn't just beat the hare, it bought the racetrack, printed tickets and televised the rerun. But here is the relatable problem. Humans, they stink at patience. We want the chef's kiss of gains, and we want it yesterday. Right now, the community kind of pulse is, beating faster forecasts. Telegon whispers $87, Changeley daydreams about $92.88 by December of 2034. And those targets, they make our vanilla 2% plan look like at least looks like it's jogging in flip-flops, right? And that's where FOMO claws at you, right? Because what if the herd is right and slow and steady misses a moon mission? Well, we've been there, right? I once swapped out a token at 20% profit, applauding my prudence, of course, only to watch it 10x literally while I kind of microwaved my dinner. The moral of the story is that the market loves humbling all of us. And before we kind of charge deeper into this, let me lay down something crystal clear on the record, and it might just shock you, but I'm not a financial advisor and nothing in this video is financial advice. Cryptocurrencies are highly volatile and you could lose all of the money that you invest. You should always do your own research and consult a qualified professional. Your investments are entirely your responsibility and you should know that nothing is ever guaranteed when it comes to investing. Neither I, this channel, nor YouTube are liable for any losses, and this video today is for entertainment and educational purposes only. Okay then, that's the liability ninjas are satisfied. Let's get back to the fun part. Let's zoom into Ripple's headline-grabbing victories, because they're the fuel behind any price engine, slow or hyper. 5-year lawsuit, done. Gavel down, clarity up. Now that alone unclogs pipes for US banks previously afraid to sneeze anywhere near XRP. Now add Ripple's banking license pursuit. If approved, Ripple morphs from crypto startup to regulated financial institution with direct settlement muscle. That's kind of like switching from riding shotgun to owning the kind of Lambo or limo fleet entirely. And then there's the Federal Reserve master account application. So think of a master account as an all-access backstage pass to US payments rails. Now with it, Ripple could clear transfers minus the middleman detours that slow payments to a kind of coffee line crawl. Suddenly, institutional doors swing open wider than a barn in a tornado season. Now, every new use case, cross-border payrolls, tokenized treasuries, adds real demand for XRP as a bridge asset. Stats time. Right now, we've got about $2.22 price tag and roughly 45 billion XRP in circulation. Actually, I think it's north of that, about 50 something billion. And at kind of $24.37, circulating cap, it will hover north of $1 trillion. Fully diluted, it touches a cool $1.5 trillion. Now, for comparison, that's Apple criteria mid 2017, back when iPhone X rumors mill kind of was still revving up. And are $1 trillion crypto caps unthinkable? Well, Bitcoin's already did it. And Ethereum, it flirted with $500 billion already. So the concept isn't sci-fi, it's actually just a Tuesday in crypto land. But let's address the elephant, or maybe the sloth in the room. Velocity, right? A 2% monthly kind of clip feels glacier in meme coin culture that we find ourselves in. Picture a snail with a jetpack then, right? Funny visual, I know. Terrible aerodynamics. It'd be hilarious. But yet, the slow burns often actually outlive the fireworks, right? Ask any early Bitcoin miners who watched the price crawl from cents to dollars. Many kind of quit at $10, missing 60K or even 100K. consistency is the compounding secret sauce in Einstein's allegedly kind of called the eighth wonder, though I doubt he was stacking sats. Still, momentum traders will chase wilder kind of trajectories. 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗔𝗡𝗡's $87 target implies a 3,800% climb from today. Chainley's kind of 92 prediction is a 4,070% stretch. Those aren't absurd if you kind of call or at least recall the 2017 took XRP from fractions of a penny to over $3 in a single bull eruption. Could lightning really strike twice? Possible, but speculation without a plan is like skydiving without checking that you actually have a parachute. Fun story though, I once fumbled my exchange logins mid kind of bull run. I locked out for 24 hours and watched a triple-digit pump from the kind of nosebleed seats. Humbling is an understatement. So let's go ahead and pull out the kind of trusty bar napkin math one more time. Suppose Ripple nails the banking license by 2026, secures the master account in, let's say, 2027, and a handful of US banks integrate on-demand liquidity by 2028. Each milestone, tends to kind of spark TV segments, Reddit hype kind of trains, and yes, price jolts. Historically, large cap cryptos have spiked anywhere from 7% to 40% on a single regulatory headline. Now, toss a few of those kind of firecrackers into our 2% monthly bonfire, and you've got a blaze hot enough to roast marshmallows. Yet the most underrated accelerant is plain old scarcity psychology. XRP supply is capped. There's no central print more button, and every few institutional, or at least every new institutional corridor, soaks up liquidity like couch cushions devour spare change. Now, when supply tightens, price elasticity goes cardio, right? I tested this in a kind of thought experiment. If just 5% of today's Swift volume, migrated to XRP settlement, assuming average daily Swift transfers of $5 trillion, well, you would need trillions in notional XRP flow, even accounting for rapid reuse. Volatility and velocity models, they root for higher valuations at the end of the day. But I promised personal anecdote, laden journey here, not just a math lecture, right? So let me kind of confess an embarrassing moment then. Earlier this year, I absent-mindedly told my dentist that XRP might triple by lunchtime. Mouth full of gauze and, anesthesia talking and kicking in, of course. And she kind of raised an eyebrow, drilled a cavity, and sent me off numbed and humbled, I guess. That afternoon, XRP closed exactly flat. Moral of the story is that 9 hours in a chair, time kind of equals 0% price growth. Compounding cares not about my bravado, which kind of loops me back to the discipline, right? Whether you target is $7, $24, or $92, the strategy that wins, involves a plan timed to your risk tolerance, not your adrenaline spikes. Dollar cost averaging, right? Setting sane take profit levels, moving long-term holdings to cold storage. It's boring, yes. Effective, yeah, repeatedly, right? And you can never, at least if you kind of ever need a reality check, or tribe, then our free educational Discord server, the link in the description, is open 24/7, right? We nerd out over charts, we share the war stories, and we remind each other to touch grass. And speaking of tools, I do nearly all of my buys and laddered sells on Kraken Pro these days because the interface feels like Bloomberg's terminal married a surfboard. It's powerful, yet pretty chill. Plus, the affiliate link down below keeps this channel caffeinated and you legally hydrated with transparent fee discounts. It's kind of a win-win. Use it, don't use it, check it out, up to you. Use the link in the description down below. I often say having access to as many exchanges as possible is a wise idea because you never know when you might need them. Okay, let's hit the narrative climax then, right? It's July 2035, right? I'm much older, hopefully even a little bit wiser, and I open the same spreadsheet that I started this odyssey with. Right, cell D37, it flashes $24.37. My original stash, scooped up at 60 cents back in 2020's bear swamp, is now worth a small nation's GDP. The kids, teenagers, by then of course, roll their eyes at dad's crypto bedtime stories. They're a thing, by the way. But, they kind of secretly flex the NFT membership passes at school, I know. But I export the final graph, I overlay it on the kind of first, pathetic July 2025 screenshot, and the slope looks less like a line and more like a ski jump, right? The slope climb was invisible one day to day, yet breathtaking a decade later. And that, friends, is the magic of compounding, doing push-ups while you sleep. So, what are the key takeaways? Well, 1. Underestimate steady 2% gains at your own peril. 2. Ripple's regulatory wins, are the plot twists that keep this saga pretty spicy. 3. Patience pairs well with coffee and good staking strategy. 4. Remember Uncle Bob. There's always someone claiming that crypto is toast right before the next rally torches their toast, ironically. And if you want more deep dive breakdowns like this, then tap subscribe and let the algorithm know that you enjoy numbers that occasionally melt brains. And I'll see you all in the next one.